Hey folks, man, this is Monk, and we are back with another episode of Classes of Cinematics, and I'm joined as always with my co-host Bobby Blockbuster.
Yo, yo, yo!
Yeah, and this is a show about the classic films that shaped and warped our childhoods, man, and today we got an interesting one, but first off, I want to say shout out to us. We just hit 300 subscribers on YouTube, actually 302.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're very proud of that, man.
Yes, indeed.
Trying to get to the goal, man. Trying to get to the money, man. So just keep checking us out. Keep referring us to your friends, man. And we got more in store for you. But today, you know, we got a heavy hitter from back in the day, man. Mm-hmm. This is going to be the film A League of Their Own. And this is an interesting film. It's directed by Garry Marshall. It came out July 1st, 1992. And the story goes as this: as America's stock of athletic young men is depleted during World War II, a professional all-women baseball league springs up in the Midwest, funded by publicity-hungry candy maker Walter Harvey. Competitive sisters Dottie Hinson and Kit Keller spar with each other. Scout Ernie Capadino and grumpy has-been coach Jimmy Dugan on their way to the fame. So this is crazy, dude. That was a weird sentence I just read.
Yeah? You ain't write it down.
I'm looking at it. I didn't write it. Yeah. But basically this league is put in place to eliminate the hole that's been left in Major League Baseball. Since a lot of the players, you know, got drafted and went to fight in the war. So essentially the male MLB, Major League Baseball, just was put on hold you know, during this time. And it's interesting because I don't think many of them players died in the war. Is there a record of any of them actually dying? Because I feel like a lot of them, at least the bigger ones, got cushy positions in the Army. They were kind of in the back.
Oh, they didn't have them on the front line.
Yeah, not on the front line. There might have been a case of one or two. I got to look that up. But for the most part, you know, they had cushy positions, you know. And, you know, it's like when Elvis went to the Army, you know what I'm saying? So they weren't really doing anything, you know, maybe administrative or behind the, you know, the front line, you know, like Bob said. But this cast is crazy, man, for the time being. And it's wild because a lot of these people at the time, you know, they were up-and-comers, or some of them were established and just kind of, you know, just grinded it out during their careers, but later on will become legendary. But we got, our main star here is Geena Davis, who at the time was really cooking on a lot of stuff. We got Tom Hanks, Madonna, got a film rolling here, Lori Petty, Megan Cavanaugh, Rosie O'Donnell, Ann Cusack. There's a lot of people here. We also got Taya Leone. What else we got here?
We get a brief appearance from Jon Lovitz.
Yeah, Jon Lovitz, man, he was great in this.
Yes, he was.
Frida Simpson, Ann Ramsey, Patty Pelton, Biddy Stram, Bill Pullman, like you said, Jon Lovitz, and Tracy Reiner, Garry Marshall. And it's just a really crazy cast, man. We'll get into why, you know, in a little bit. But yeah, I don't know if you want to get that because your alarm might be going off during the. I
tried to turn it down.
All right.
But yeah, the text messages still.
They still pop.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is a crazy film right here, man. What's one of the things that stands out to you?
I mean, I'm gonna piggyback off what you just said. This cast. I mean, by today's terms, this is a grade A all-star cast. You know what I mean? And with this cast being what it is, it also leads to great characters, great character development, and each one of them bring their own identity and personality to the roles that they're playing. You know what I'm saying? There's so many memorable characters in this film, and it's so full of heart. You know what I mean? Even though, yes, Geena Davis is the standout because the initial story that was written for this film, it surrounds around her character, but all of the sub characters, they bring something amazing to this film as well, you know. And not for nothing, this film, after Tom Hanks had his role in this, I mean, it like re-injected his career.
Yeah. I mean, he took off, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. To your point too, the cast, man, it's just great seeing all of them. There's a little backstory for a lot of the characters too. You know, as far as the recruitment, we see the baseball guys go to Dottie and Kit's home and try to recruit them, man, and that's cool. So I think they're the first two to get recruited to the team, and then they kind of make their rounds, man. I thought it was dope too with Marla Hooch's character, man, and it's crazy because she's supposed to be the ugly one, you know what I'm saying? Right. And Lovett's character, he doesn't want her because she's not as attractive as the other girls, and it's wild to me because later on there's a scene in the movie where they go out on the town and they doll her up, and I'm like, bro, they had to doll her down in reality to make her the ugly chick, man, in this movie, yo, because you see her like, oh shit, and it was funny because she's singing and that one dude is like, he's all about it. He's like, and it's cool because she's locking eyes, but she's singing to him in the whole crowded bar. But it's cool, and then that scene too where they go to the stadium and then there's that other what is it? Tryouts where we meet more of the other players and Rosie, Madonna, and it's crazy, man. This is when Rosie O'Donnell was still cool to us. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it was cool. It was a breakout role for her. And even Madonna, they had their two characters paired up, and it's kind of crazy because I remember in real life they kind of became, really good friends. They did Arsenio together. Yeah, I remember that. Like it's burning in my head, and I warped in, childhood brain.
And dude, to your point, I love what Jon Lovitz brought to this. Even though his role was real short, it was so significant. And he just brought it in the best way. From his banter, his sarcasm, his facial expressions, everything that I love to see from him in a film, he brought it in this. Even though he was a grade A pig.
Yeah, he's kind of the sideshow circus carny kind of element to this. He knows what is going to get butts and seats, but in a way also his thinking is kind of like outdated. Like I said, he's just trying to sell the sex and the attractiveness of the girl. Never mind, it's a game that has to be played too, a game of skill.
Yeah. What I'm saying? And to your point, that's why this film, it's a testament of the times. It takes place around I want to say 1943. And this misogyny and this male chauvinistic mindset that majority of men carried when it pertained to women. He embodied that. Tom Hanks's character embodied that. And
even the women, like one of the things that rewatching this in the beginning, like it was like a group of ladies on the radio talking about how this sport, having these girls play is eroding the family in America. Yeah. It's making all the girls masculine. I'm like, yo, this is wild, dude. It's just an interesting picture of the times, that this thing was made.
They make multiple references that like a woman's place is in the kitchen. We're pulling them out of the kitchen to make them, play a man's game, and then after they're done with this, we want to send them back to the kitchen. And it's like, dude, it's a terrible, terrible way of thinking, but I'm just so glad that we're past that now in today's time. You know what I'm saying?
Some ways.
In some ways, yes.
Because it's all like, well, what's going to happen to the home if the women aren't home? And right. I'm like, oh, come on, dude, this is crazy.
Yeah.
But it's fun, man. Just seeing all that develop and the little interpersonal relationships. Like Dottie's not really is into it. She doesn't want it as much as her sister, even though she's one of the greatest players.
The best in the league, dog.
She's really just waiting for her, husband to come back from the war so she can start her family. And it's cool, man. Like I said, man, like the cast is great, but I think the story works here. Like you look at a film like Major League, and Major League could have been this good and still been funny, and this thing is really funny, man. Yes. But I think if Major League would have took the time to give us some character development, some more believable background stuff instead of just some gag kind of for the joke type stuff, then it could have been really good. Like even they totally blew the Cuban player's story who defected from Cuba just to play up some goofy voodoo jokes. Right. Whereas they could have really turned that into something and made it funny how they did in this film, man. Because all of these women, they have a background, they have a past. Whether it's whatever's going on with their families, their husbands, or previous walks of life, previous jobs, and it comes across in their characters, man. It's dope.
Absolutely. There's so much heart in this film. And like you said, it really accentuates the comedic value because we get emotionally attached to these characters and their background. But then also another thing that stands out to me is that this is based on actual events. Like this league did take place. This is a real thing. These women, the real baseball players, did get inducted into the Hall of Fame. They did get their notoriety, their recognition, justifiably so. So not only is this film great just from the movie aspect, but this is a story that had to be told. You know what I mean? And they did it in grand fashion.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, it did really good, too, when it came out. I remember catching this on HBO, though. This was an HBO premiere for me. But they did $40 million budget, box office $132.4 million. It probably cleaned up with the rental. That's the one thing that I wish companies put out, but no one puts out their VHS, DVD, Blu-ray sales numbers. I mean, we used to get a thing in the TV Guide or the paper back in the day, and it would tell us what the top movies being rented were, but we never really got like any numbers behind any of this stuff, man. I wish, those exist. They probably do exist, but for some reason they never, put those things out, man.
Right. And, I think another reason why this plays so well is when they were actually casting for this film, they said that they would not bring anyone on board that did not have some form of baseball experience. So there was a lot of things that was happening on the screen that was happening, in real life. Like a lot of the bumps and bruises, like there was the one young lady that when she slid in to home or third base, she got this big, huge bruise on her thigh. That was real. Yeah, she said that that bruise lasted over a year.
Dang.
Yeah.
A lot of physical things happened on this. One of the players, actors, broke their nose with a baseball mitt while trying to catch a ball, and yeah, that was right. Renee Coleman, that's the one who slid and had the thigh bruise. And they say Lori Petty claims she broke her foot, while they were filming this as well. So a lot of things they were actually playing the game, a lot of them, and a lot of this incidents.
And just another testament of the time. It's like you got these young women playing this sport in a miniskirt. Why would you do that?
Yeah, that's where that's terrible. That's where those leg injuries were coming from. You're sliding in the base, why? But it's really interesting because that's another thing of the time. Like women didn't wear pants for no reason, any occasion, man. It's just unbecoming. It just wasn't a cool thing to do, man. There were no pantsuits, things like that. Like they just didn't, man. So it's crazy.
And it really just showed that they were holding these women to a higher standard than they were holding the male professional baseball players. They had them doing things off the field, like all these stipulations. Oh, you can't smoke, you can't drink, you can't have any interaction with any dudes. They even made them go to these classes 2 times a week.
Yeah, that was so funny seeing
women how to be a proper lady classes and stuff. It's like, come on, man. Like,
it was funny though when they said that. They said you're going to be taking etiquette classes, and then Rosie's like, "For what?" In this crazy ass Brooklyn, New York accent. It's like, yeah, you need it, Rosie.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy, man. Another thing I do like though with this is the baseball action, man, and it actually got more baseball action than Major League, than a lot of these like we actually see them, doing the stuff, the tryouts. Even when the film opens up, they're playing like a little exhibition game, Dottie and Kit, against this local team. And even the trials, man. Marlo, she was cracking them in that gym.
Oh,
dude.
man.
It was a good scene, man.
I love that part because she's swinging righty, and I mean, she's banging them.
Yeah.
And Jon Lovitz, as the sports agent, he looks kind of unimpressed. And then my man was like, "All right, now go ahead and hit lefty." And dude, she's hitting the top of the bleachers in the ceiling in the gym.
Yeah, and I like that part too because the guys that are fielding for her, they're like,
yeah, they all back up and stuff. Like she was bringing that work. She was bringing that work. But yeah, to your point, this is a top tier sports movie. It has all of the ingredients from the character build up, the training montage, and the on-field action that we love to see in these kind of films. All the way up, leading us up to the final game where we get, Kit's character, who's Dottie's sister, gets traded off to another team, and then they have to square off. You know what I'm saying? And
I think she wanted to trade too, right?
Dottie wanted to trade. Yeah, she was like, trade me, because she was just she was tired of it. Was creating so much
having them both together
and turmoil. Yeah, because her sister just felt like she was always in her shadow. She's like, they always talk about you. Like, they wouldn't even refer to her by her name. They were always like, yeah, Dottie's sister. You know what I mean? Like, and I could see how that would start to rub her the wrong way, but at the same time, you know, she was the one who got the short end of the stick when she got traded.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's crazy. But speaking of Tom Hanks' character, man, I think it's great. Like, he's such a jerk, such an asshole in this thing. But you know what's crazy? He doesn't change, man. Yeah. And what I like about this movie, like in the most movies, you know, he warms up to the team and then he starts training them. Nah, they warm up because they get used to playing with each other and become a more effective unit. He's still pretty much a babysitter. The only time he gets on his board when they start winning, and still they're not listening to him. He's still the babysitter. He's just there, you know, and trying to, you know, give him some encouragement. But it's funny, man. He doesn't change. Like, I feel like in most movies would have took the easy route. Oh, now we love you, and it's like there's a scene when Dottie she's about to quit right before the World Series, and then she comes back to the team, and he's like, yeah, so I'm playing. Like, she's just there. But then he's like,
she just assumed she was going to get it. He's like, who said you were playing?
But I don't think she was going to listen to him. No way. He's like, I'm playing. I don't care what you say. Get out of here, Jimmy.
Up until that point, I mean, you see, Dottie was almost not just the player, but she was also coaching while he was still, because he was not taking this serious. I could tell he was so disgruntled. He was going to the games drunk. Like, even when the owner of the team was like, dude, what are you doing? He was like, man, you got to coach this team of ball players. He was like, I don't got ball players. I got girls. And you can tell, like, that he has a lot of resentment in his heart due to the fact that he was a baseball player and now he's just pretty much a nobody. You know what I mean? And he doesn't get that respect that he feels he deserves.
Yeah, he basically drank his career into the toilet. But my favorite part though, when she comes back and you know, he's like, all right, man, you can play, even though that really wasn't his choice. It was all her choice. But she says to him, he's like, hey, Jimmy, when's the last time you shaved? You look like shit. It's just like, yo, it was just one of them, like, you know who's the boss, like, who's running this team. It was just a cool ass moment.
And that's the thing, like, you know, when it came to his coaching, like you said, it's not that he hit this turnaround, like, oh, I love all my girls. He gained to respect them as ball players. And, you know, of course, he's still going to be a hard-nosed coach. He's still going to lean on them and demand the best out of them. But the respect level that he did not have out the gate was firmly established by the end of this film, and that was awesome to see.
Yeah, man, it definitely worked for me, man. Even culminating into what we get with the like the bonding moments, man. Those are really strong here. I love those moments in the film. Like even when we see them going through the etiquette training and they're goofing off, man. Some of them they're trying their best, but it's funny, man. A lot of these, you know, women, they're just out of their element, man. You know, they're working class. They're not with all this prim and proper stuff. You know what I'm saying? But then I love the scene when they go out on the town, when they hang out. Like,
man.
It's great, man. It's great. You know, like, you know, and I feel like a lot of them who were just holding back, now we see their full on, you know, personality. They're drinking, they're dancing, they're singing.
Dude, speaking of that, man, dancing was completely different in the 40s. I was like, man, I don't think I could do that. That looked like a whole exercise routine. I mean, the way Madonna was swinging around and flipping, and I mean, you had dudes jumping over other guys' shoulders and stuff. I was like, man, this is that
swing like that was extra.
Not on my best day, bro. I couldn't do that.
I don't think too many people were doing that. Those were like the professionals, you know.
Yeah, but Madonna killed it though. Like, I mean, and it was nice to see them, you know, just in a different element and all smiles, just fun and enjoying life. You know what I mean? Because it up until this point, when we get that scene, it just, all we know is that they're trying their best to make it with all the cards stacked against them. Nobody believed in them. I mean, even like their first baseball game, you got this guy paid for a ticket to come to the game just to stand up and ridicule them, make fun of them, and oh, I'm a girl, I'm gonna break my nail, just being a complete and total douche. And that's why I love when the second baseman, she throws the ball, hits him with the ball, and everyone laughed him out. You know what I mean? But you see, as the film goes, it goes from empty seats to everybody's fully on board, because they, you know, like I said, they gain their respect as ball players. You know what I mean? And that was dope.
Yeah, didn't they make a song that came out of this? Yeah, I think the Madonna.
I think it's
this playground or something. So yeah, they put out a soundtrack. They said it peaked at 159 on the Billboard charts, but for some reason, I guess contractual reasons, that playground song could not be included on the soundtrack, which probably would have, you know, bumped it up. I think that was, you know, pretty you know, big record at the time, dude. You know. Yeah,
I think this is when did this come out? 1992. Yeah, that was when Madonna was like,
yeah, she was on fire, man. Like it was a big deal to have her in this movie. I think that's kind of helped, you know, increase the appeal and make people, you know, want to see it. And she did a really good job. You know, everything was like a natural. You know, it makes me wonder why she didn't, you know, pull out more, you know, do even more.
I think a couple of the movies that she did before this just didn't really do well.
They tanked.
They were not well. I remember Material Girl. I saw that junk. Oh man, I hate to admit it now, but
I don't think I've seen it. But I did remember she was in, Dick Tracy.
Oh yeah,
a couple of duds, man.
Which that one they missed the mark on that one. I think that one should get another crack.
I did love the finale of this, man. That final game, like that was a game, dude. They was balling, man. Like the competition was thick, and you got the conflict of Dottie and Kit being on opposite teams, man.
Yes.
And it's weird because I just watched the finale, but in my head, I think Dottie dropped the ball on purpose.
Absolutely,
man. I think so. Dude.
Absolutely,
because I think she realized that Kit wanted it more, and it meant the world to her. You know, and you can see, man. You know, like she was still intent on just starting a family. You know, even though she was this phenomenal baseball player, that's really what she wanted out of life.
It was secondary to her, and she knew that this was everything to Kit, and this gave her the opportunity to step out of Dottie's shadow. Like I said, I mean, even when they got recruited, Jon Lovitz was like, "Yo, if you get Dottie to come on board, you can come along. Worst it's going to cost me is a train ticket." You know what I mean? And then she was constantly making references about how, you know, Dottie was always the hero. Nobody really respected her as a ball player. So this gave her the opportunity to level up, show what she can do, and be the hero.
Yeah, and on my bad, going back a little bit too, man, before that, man, one of the scenes that really got me though, dude, was when that messenger from the army comes in that joint, man. And this is when I think Tom Hanks' character stepped up. Like you could tell he cared a little bit, despite the front he puts up. And the carrier comes in and he's got a letter correspondence, and he's being sloppy with this shit. He's like, you know, basically he's letting them know that this is a bad letter that we're giving one of you guys. All these women got husbands or boyfriends in the army, and basically saying this is a death notice.
Like, this is a death notice, but I don't have the name.
Who it goes to. I got to go back to the
name. He's like, I'm tired of doing this. Like, he had no sympathy, no remorse, no nothing. I was like, dude, you are just you are a piece of work, bro.
Meaning they're about to go play a game, and they're going to be stuck in this for however many days it's going to take him to come back with wondering who it is, all thinking that that's probably my man.
And leading up to this, Dottie had a talk with the coach. She said that her husband has not written back to her in almost 3 weeks. And so, of course, when Tom Hanks takes the letter, he's like, man, give me the letter. Pushes him out. Man. You know, he's like, man, bump your protocol, man. Get out of here. You come in here with all this shit. You know, and then he beelines and he's walking right towards where Dottie's sitting, and then it ends up going to I want to say it's Betty Spaghetti. So I was like, oh man, but
that's a rough thing, man, to see that. Like, it's a well acted, but it gives this film man. Like it's a comedy, but it's one of them. To me, it's more of a dramatic comedy. Like whereas this thing really does have the intent is to have these emotional impact, and it just happens to be funny, man. You know, and but that scene hit me so hard. I was like, yo, this is just crazy, man. And then I don't know if she played in the next game or if she sat on the bench in the dugout, like, but that's crazy, bro. Like,
yeah, man. I mean,
rough,
like you said, in this, I mean, even though
it even caused Dottie to later on in her room. She was crying. She's like,
and then that's what she was like, yo, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. But that's what makes this film great. It's because of the high level of realism that it carries. I mean, the things that's going on, you know, they pull on the heartstrings. These are things that were actually happening in that time. You know what I'm saying? So it's very relatable, very understandable. You know what I mean? And another thing that I think help elevate this film is the very beginning and the very end when it shows them as the older women. Because, you know, like at first, you know, you see Dottie still kind of like, you know, it shows her as she's a grandma now. And she's like, I don't really know if I want to go. Her daughter's like encouraging
she's being brought to it's like a reunion for the team. That's how the film opens up.
It's a reunion, but it's also, this is the day that they're going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then when she decides she's going to go, and then it tickles me because, you know, when she makes it onto the field, you see them all just having so much fun playing. I mean, and they're in their later years of life, but just the joy that they had playing the game.
Because she even tells her daughter, she's like, "Oh, that was just a moment in my life," you know. Like, and then the daughter's like, "Nah, stop playing. You're
underselling, man.
You know, this is great. This is your moment." And like you said, man, I think when she sees other players there, that's when the film starts with, you know, with their younger selves being recruited to the team. But then at the end, they show her go in there, and dude, I think this was some of the best casting ever. The older versions of
it looked like, dude, like it looked like that's what they would look like.
If every movie took the time to cast a younger, you would only hope, man. But there's a lot of movies where sometimes you'll see like a light-skinned black dude playing the kid, and then it's the older. You know, I'm like, yo, what is this? Or it's just they just don't look nothing.
Yeah,
like. They just found the first kid they could find, and it's just like, all right, let's go.
Whatever. And you know, another thing that hit me really hard at the end is when they notice that Dottie's there, they recognize her and the love that she got. Because in her mind, it was like you said, it was just a brief. It was a point in her life, 1 year career. Didn't really mean nothing. It was more important to her to do the family thing, have kids and everything, which is equally important. Yeah. But the amount of love that she was given by her teammates, I was like, oh man, this is such a feel good movie.
It works, man.
It really works on every level, man. And you know, like I said, I mean, I've said this multiple times before. I love me a sports film. And this one would definitely rank very high on my list. You know what I'm saying? This is me personally, this is a top 5 sports film.
Yeah, it is, dude. Like this, it has the emotional impact. It has a great story, and it makes you feel good at the end. Even though, like, you know, it's wild too, man. The team loses, and you still feel good.
Yes,
like you know, like that's crazy to me.
Yes, because yes, the team. We wanted the Peaches to win, but you know what? It was gratifying to see Kit get her moment. Yeah, you know what I mean. And you know, Dottie dropped that ball for her sister. That is love.
That's winning to me, dude.
Yeah,
that's you know, like I could get all the glory right now, but nah, this is not for me. Like, I know she's going to get more out of this moment than I am, and you know, and
it was more important to her to see her sister win. You know what I'm saying? At the cost of anything else. You know what I'm saying? Because not for nothing, the Peaches were the front runners of the league.
Yeah, and the Peaches, they were going to at least get another season or two.
All day.
She was about to go do her family thing, so it's like, why not let them have this moment?
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Because even you remember at the end when Kit's signing all the baseball, she's like, man, Dottie, we made it. You know you love the sport. How can you just quit? And she's like, man, this is your thing now. Like, you know, those that aspire to continue to play baseball, do that. She was like, I have other plans with my life. You know what I mean? And I thought it was really dope that the owner of that team, when he found out that the guy who was running it, the candy bar man, he was like, oh yeah, after this year, I'm going to 86 the league anyways, because the guys are coming back. So we don't need this woman league. And he was like, nah, man, sell it to me. I'll take it and I'll make sure that it continues on, because these women, they earned that.
that's the thing, though. Do we have a women's professional league now? Or I know we do have a collegiate. You know,
yes.
They close those games on all the time.
Oh, yes.
Like softball.
Softball, yeah. I'll be watching that.
but are there professional women's baseball league now? Is there?
It's not highly promoted. I mean, if there is, I honestly, I don't know. But I know that, you know, they don't promote it or publicize it. Like, you know, when it comes to the WNBA, you know, you can see the games on TV, you can watch it, you know, but when it comes to the female baseball players professionally, I haven't ever seen a game on TV.
Yeah, I don't think there's an existing league right now. Everything that I see points back to this GPBL, you know, league. You know, and from, you know, World War II, they were inducted into the Hall of Fame in '88. So yeah, man, that's fucking wild.
So it's probably short lived, but.
Yeah, I feel like that's a wasted opportunity. But
absolutely,
man. I mean, sometimes you can only do what the market can bear, man. If the market isn't in them, you know, there's just no market for it. Then,
like I said, they firmly established out the gate that the cards were stacked against them from day one. Mm-hmm. So, to no surprise, the league didn't carry over, you know, with longevity because nobody was rooting for it. Mm-hmm. You know.
Yeah, and only, I guess, the people who really, really wanted to see a baseball game were even, you know, going to check this league out anyway, you know, at the time.
Right.
So.
And then again, like I said, some of them were coming with a negative mindset. They weren't coming to enjoy the game or, you know, watch these players do great things.
Throw back a six-pack and
they want to come and talk trash you know? And belittle and be, you know, grade A douchers. And, you know, so if that's what fuels your fire, man, I'm sorry for you, but you know.
Yeah. Well, I love this movie, man. Like, it's a really good watch. I had a great time, man.
Yes.
Like, especially, like I said, the way it's bookended with these reunion scenes, we even see the kid that was getting on everybody's nerves on the bus growing up. Like, you know, I would have had to quit, man. If that kid was on that joint. Woo.
Oh yeah, like when they first introduced us to him and he's running through the bus like hitting everybody, chocolate all on his face. The bus driver just quit.
Looked like the Cracker Jack guy.
Yeah,
short.
but you know the love a mother will have for her child because she's constantly trying to convince him. She's like, he's really a good kid. He's great. You just gotta warm up to him. It's like, man, and then Madonna picks up the bat. She's like, man, I'm gonna kill him.
Dennis the Menace, he was like terror. Like,
yes. And then even at the end, remember in the World Series, like he's sitting there, he's like, "You're gonna lose, you're gonna lose." Dude, I almost started crying. I was laughing so hard when Tom Hanks took the glove and he just like wings it, hits the little dude right in the face, falls down.
That was right after like that moment when she said he needs a shave. And he caught her attitude, and like I said, it's not a film where they just suddenly get along and he's the coach.
Yes,
he was like, "Wow, like she knows me. She knows me enough to know that that's how I want you to talk to me."
Yes, and then he starts telling we're gonna win, and then you hear this in the background, "You're gonna lose, you're gonna lose." He's like, "Give me your glove."
It's a great film, man. I love this thing, man.
Yes.
We can just leave it at that, man. Rewatch it if you haven't seen it in a while. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. And they also, what prompted us to do this, they have a TV series coming to Amazon Prime Video based on this film. Yes. And that looks to be even good too, man. It looks like a series, meaning they got more time to expand on this stuff, man.
And they can deep dive into the characters and a lot more of what's going on with the league. And you know, they can even give us a little expansion on players on other teams. I mean, this is not just about the Peaches. There was like, 12 other teams, I think? 11 other teams?
Yeah, it looks good, man.
Yes.
But I think that's it, folks, man. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And we'll be back to talk more classics, man. This has been Monkey. Catch me at Monkey Blood on Instagram and Twitter. And follow us at Classics of Cinematics on Instagram.
And this is Bobby Blockbuster. You can catch me at Bobby Blockbuster 118 on the gram.
Yeah, folks, we out of here. Peace. Ooh.